Tracy walked away. Just do it on the computer then.
Okay, it is being recorded. So we'll pull up the screen and start again. Okay, so what we're going to talk about tonight is, I just shared my background a little bit. My name's Kelly Braun. I live in Marblehead, Massachusetts. I have 3 children, and my story started with my daughter, who Haley, who came home and announced that she was interested in eating healthier. And that really started our journey of trying to figure out this piece of nutrition. My background is in teaching, health, and phys ed, and coaching. And then I went back to school and became a physical therapist. And I've worked as a physical therapist for over 30 years. And now I'm really more fired up about sharing what we have with nutrition. So we're going to talk about the young athlete and how we can most efficiently rebuild, refuel, and recover. This is my family, 3 children, very active children, all playing, 3 sports every year. And Haley, here at age 15, came home and announced that she was interested in eating healthier. She was playing 3 sports in high school, one of which was skiing, and she had very bad exercise-induced asthma, especially during ski season with the cold weather. Her airways would be really compromised, especially if she had to hike. In a race, she would come through the finish line and couldn't breathe. When she was 14, she was put on prednisone. At the time, I was working in the hospital, and I knew that prednisone was a really strong drug, and I didn't really want my child to be on it. This was her childhood: inhalers, nebulizers, prednisone, antibiotics. She would get a barking cough every winter that would last the winter. And I remember lying awake at night trying to figure out, what do I do? Do I wake her up and give her cough medicine, knowing that that was just treating the symptoms, and really frustrated because I wasn't able to impact the cause of why she was having so much trouble. She broke her ankle and had to have surgery. And they put 2 screws in her ankle. She broke her ankle playing soccer. And she remembers the doctors saying they couldn't believe how fast she healed. This was at Children's Hospital in Boston. And we didn't really think much of it at the time, but she did heal really fast. She was non-weight bearing for 2 months. She rehabbed for a month, and that year she was back at her normal activity level, ski racing. When we started to notice a difference in her asthma after we added Juice Plus to our diet, I really got skeptically curious and wanted to know what was going on. And that's when I looked into the research. The first study that I saw and really caught my attention was this study here in the Journal of American College of Cardiology, talking about cardiovascular health. I was working with many people in the nursing home that were compromised from that. I thought, wow, this is really interesting. I want to know more. As far as Haley was concerned, asthma is inflammation. And the nutrition was helping us to decrease the inflammation. If you're just checking in and you can mute your line, that would be really helpful. There's a little microphone in the bottom corner, and if you just click on it, that will mute you. So the research really impressed me, and many different areas of illness have been studied. And this is an example of some of the different areas that they've looked at: the cardiovascular wellness, the immune system, gum health, reducing oxidative stress. And this is the one that we're going to talk more about tonight, because this is what you increase when you exercise. And now we're going to go to Christine Higgins, who's going to share her story.
Hi everyone, my name is Christine Higgins and I live in Needham, Mass. I'm a member of Riverside Boat Club's competitive women's masters team, and I also teach classical ballet. So I'm honored to be here with you tonight to share my story. This is my family of athletes. My husband Joe also rows for MIT Rowing Club, and our 2 children, Jack and Emmy, are competitive swimmers. Jack swims for the United States Merchant Marine Academy, and Emmy is a year-round high school swimmer. So we started with the Tower Garden over a year ago, which is our vertical aeroponic growing system. My family was already trying to eat more plant-based food, so the tower made perfect sense to us. My neighbor Jen Gonzalez, who was a physician's assistant, had a tower, and she's the one that introduced me to Juice Plus. So I learned through Jen that my family needed way more fruits and vegetables though than we were getting. So we added the capsules and the chewables and the complete. So we've all benefited from some really amazing transformations, like more energy, better recovery from workouts, no more seasonal allergies, and Jack is off all of his asthma medications. So this is a picture of my teammates and me racing in Amsterdam at the Heineken this past March. I'm in Bow. We decided to set a goal of racing in Amsterdam as a reward for winter training. We happily finished fourth in our division of average age 50 boats. So we train year round, 6 days a week. So with my ballet teaching schedule plus training for rowing, rest and recovery and injury prevention is super important for me. So here's my son, Jack. He's had an incredible transformation with Juice Plus. He's been eating Juice Plus for over a year now, and this past year was the first year he's had no asthma medication since he was 4 years old, which makes me just want to cry as a mom because had I known about Juice Plus sooner, and I could have helped him to avoid all those years of being sick in the winter and just taking lots of medication, just like Kelly's daughter. You know, I just feel like I could have done better for him. But he's doing better now, so that's the best. And he's the reason why I decided to share Juice Plus, because I know that there are other moms and people out there looking for healthier solutions. So at the Academy is training really hard in the pool, in the weight room, and through their PT tests. Plus, it's a really stressful environment where they're taking a compressed engineering workload. You can see here, Jack, these are his words as a 19-year-old. So he's saying that Juice Plus is helping him to get extra nutrients because the Academy has really limited fresh fruits and vegetables. So it's really the perfect addition to his diet. And he just finished up a phenomenal swim season, posting career best times. And he just missed the NCAA cut in the 100 breaststroke. And this is my daughter, Emmy. She's a healthy high school teenager. But she too even is experiencing some great benefits with Juice Plus, not craving sugar as much, and she's eating way more different fruits and vegetables, and she has more energy for swim and waking up easier. I mean, that's a pretty big statement from a teenage girl, right? So we're really grateful to have met Sri and some of the coaches and athletes at Community Rowing here in Brighton, Mass. We're so impressed by how open and everyone is to learning about how to fuel our bodies for peak performance and injury prevention. When I was a teenager training in a pre-professional ballet program, I was told to watch my weight, but we were given no tools. And in fact, what was modeled for us was Diet Coke and cigarettes. This is going back a ways, so I tried cutting calories, and as a result, I suffered a series of injuries. So I only wish I had known about Juice Plus then. So I'm so happy to see that we're advancing our thinking and keeping our athletes healthier now.
So we're going to talk about what's happening and why things have changed so much. And this is pretty much a picture of the standard American diet. And I know that when we travel with teams or we go to different sporting events, or just today we had a regatta, that typically is when a lot of the bad food comes out. And here, we're supposed to be replenishing with the best thing we can. And there are some fruits and vegetables here, but for the most part, food has become about convenience and fast. The drinking also is a problem where, rethink your drink. Lots of these drinks have a lot of sugar. And the way you check the sugar count is see how many grams of sugar, divide by 4, and that's how many teaspoons of sugar are in the drink. The problem with the sugar is it suppresses the immune system and also decreases your appetite. How are you replenishing? I coached lacrosse at the high school here for a number of years, and I remember thinking I didn't understand why many of the high school girls had muffin tops, around their belly. And I don't ever remember having an issue with that in high school. And it seemed like they were working out harder than I ever imagined I was. And what's changed is there's Bagel World, there's Starbucks. It's really easy access to get these things after school, before practice, or the cafeteria isn't even opened after school. So that's when you really want to be replenishing with something good, getting ready to do the activity, and it's hard to have the access. I learned a little bit about nutrition and just thought of food in terms of calories. And I think a lot of athletes do too, where they're burning so many, you need to replenish them. However, calories are not equal. Some build you up and some break you down. So think about what you're eating, and is there nutrients in what you're eating, or is it an empty calorie? Okay, like a bagel. Also, you want to look for things that are lower glycemic, like nuts, because of the fiber. They break down slower, where the French fry breaks down really fast. So it's it goes into a high fructose. It kind of puts the pancreas into overload, spilling insulin into the body, and you also don't fill up as fast. And this is kind of what's happening in the US just because of the way things have changed. It's harder to get really good plant food in. We have a small percentage of plant food and a lot of animal food and mostly processed food. So when you look at food, you want to think, is it a plant or was it processed in a plant? The government's catching on, and they've gone from the pyramid to the plate. So it used to be the food pyramid, which was very confusing to understand what you were supposed to eat. Now it's simple. Half your plate should be fruits and vegetables, whole grains, and the protein doesn't have to be meat. It can be beans. And notice that it's not necessarily milk. Water is the best way to rehydrate. And dairy has some inflammatory properties and may not be the best for our bodies. And fats have gotten a bad rap, but good fats are really important for brain health and many other things. You just have to look at where you're getting your fat. Like from avocados is a good fat. So as we started to notice a difference, I got really curious. As a physical therapist, I like to understand the science. So I wanted to know what was happening. And Christine's going to talk a little bit about how they did this study because she can relate.
Yeah, so oxidative stress is something that's a byproduct of exercise. So there's lots of good things with exercise, but we also generate oxidative stress, and that can break down our muscles and cause injuries, and it's not good for our heart over time. So fruits and vegetables is what really helps to, antioxidants is what we need to reduce our oxidative stress from exercise.
And then when they did this study, they did it, how do they run this study, Christine?
Oh, right. So in Graz, Austria, they studied the equivalent of their Navy SEALs. And so these are really highly trained athletes. And they, half of the group had a placebo for 28 weeks and half of the group took Juice Plus capsules. And the way that they tested their oxidative stress is they put them on the erg. So we just met a bunch of rowers. I know some of them are on here tonight, but for those of you that are not as familiar with rowing, the erg is the indoor rower. It's the way that rowers can train off the water, especially in the winter in New England when we can't get on the water. But rowing it's an anaerobic sport, and it produces a high level of oxidative stress. So what they did was they put these, the Graz, Austria, what do you call them, Kelly?
The soldiers.
The soldiers, right. So they used the erg, and then they measured their VO2 max. So that's how they measured their oxidative stress. And in the next slide, I think it shows us the results, right?
Yes, and one of the guys, his max VO2 was too good, so they threw him out of the study because they really wanted it to be an even playing field. They controlled what they ate, and they worked out not only in the erg, but the conditions that they would work out in were very treacherous. Another way that you can think of the oxidative stress, an easy way to think of it is if you think of your body like a car, when you put the gas in the car, which would be like the food in our body, the car goes and you have exhaust. Same thing happens in our body. When we put food in our body, we create energy, which you increase when you exercise. And the exhaust in our body is what they were measuring in the study, which is the free radicals and the protein carbonyls. Okay, and what they're showing you here is that you have the blue is the baseline, the red is the placebo, and the green is the group that was taking Juice Plus. It was a 28-week study. And what it shows over time, they're measuring to see the free radicals and the protein carbonyls. And you can see before exercise, the group that was on the placebo was above where they started. And then immediately after exercise, it goes up. And then even 30 minutes after, the ramifications from the oxidative stress went up even more. And even 30 hours after, they didn't come back down. But the group with Juice Plus was able to neutralize that oxidation from the high level of antioxidants that were coming into their body through the fruits and vegetables. The only way to get antioxidants is in fruits and vegetables. And Haley asked me to come and talk to the senior class in her health class when she was in high school. And I thought, how am I going to explain this to them? Because it's confusing. It's chemistry. A free radical is an oxygen molecule that's missing an electron on the outside ring. And it wants to be positive. It wants to be balanced. So you need the positive and the negative. When it's missing an electron, it's charged and unbalanced, and it wants to be balanced. So it's banging into other cells trying to steal an electron. If a cell goes to another cell and steals an electron, it's now created another free radical. So it's a very catalytic thing that's happening naturally in our body from aging, but increases when we exercise. So if you think of a lacrosse field with everybody with a stick is a free radical, the only one that's balanced is the one with the ball. And they're all fighting for that one ball. They want the ball. They're bruising one another. They're pushing each other over. They're fighting for that one ball, creating damage and havoc. When you have a diet rich in fruits and vegetables and or you're taking Juice Plus, it's like having a bag of balls rolled out onto the field. And it says, you know what? We have an abundance of electrons. Everybody take electron, be balanced, stop fighting. And that's how the nutrition impacts the body's ability to rebuild, refuel, and recover. Okay, because fruits and vegetables have an abundance of electrons. They don't need them. So that's how this was impacting. So this made sense to me. Like, I like to understand the science behind why I was feeling different. I was feeling more athletically able, but I didn't understand why. So I like the science behind it. I love the fact that they have done the study. And if you go onto the website, you can see there's 16 or more studies done on oxidative stress showing that the nutrition in Juice Plus is helping to decrease what we're creating more of through exercise. So this is what's in Juice Plus. It's 30 different fruits, vegetables, and berries. Everything was picked by a naturopathic doctor who was trying to help his father who was dying of cancer. I like the fact that he picked out the different colors, different kinds that he knew that the different organs needed. All I have to do is remember to take it. The produce is picked at the peak and then juiced at a low temperature, dehydrated, and batch tested for any herbicide, pesticide, contaminant, mold, or mildew. So all these different things are going into the reds are fruits, the green is the vegetables, and the purples is 9 different berries, grapes, ginger root, green tea, artichoke, cacao, and pomegranate. It is not meant to be instead of food. It is meant to bridge the gap between what we should be eating and what we are eating. When you go back to the analogy of the car, the complete is the protein powder, and the capsules are the micronutrients. So the capsules are like the oil for your engine. It's the phytochemicals that your body needs to run efficiently. And the complete is the protein powder that we have that is the macronutrients. It's the proteins, the carbohydrates, the fat, and the fiber. So the complete is like the gasoline for your engine. And at the event that we did on Saturday with Christine's group at CRI, we had complete shakes for the athletes as they were coming in off the water. And we also did chocolate hot. So we had hot chocolate complete, which was good because they were cold from being outside. So my daughter Haley, when she started to notice a difference with her asthma, went to college. She shared Juice Plus with her coach. Her coach was already paying attention to nutrition, and she listened to a couple of the exercise physiologists that we had. She liked the information. She encouraged the team to get on Juice Plus. A third of the team signed up, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. This is the coach, Pat Genevieve. She's in the Hall of Fame. She's an amazing coach. She coached for 40 years at Hobart and William Smith. And she just recommended it to her team. And some of the things that we noticed was the athletic trainer noticed that those that were taking Juice Plus when they were injured, they healed faster. And some of the student athletes noticed that they were really better able to concentrate. And one of the, Rachel Hughes, an All-American, noticed that her athletic performance, she just felt that she was performing at a better level. I know with Rachel, she was one of Haley's really good friends, and her high school year, she was very sick when she was playing. And I know from freshman to sophomore, her body changed. She just looked more lean and fit. And I know that when I went to college, that didn't happen because I was eating in that cafeteria and there was a lot of filler foods in there, and we gained that freshman 10 or the freshman 15. And these girls really didn't get that. They were doing the shakes and doing the capsules. So the shakes it's a great breakfast on the go. It's perfect for pre and post workout. We had a blender for the locker room. So the girls, as soon as they came off the field, they could make a shake. It's the perfect time to replenish 30 minutes after exercise. And we'd also make these little energy bites, and we also have bars with Juice Plus. But the energy bites were a real hit. We'd bring them to the tailgating, and that's typically when a lot of the not so healthy food comes out, and they would devour these. And they had no idea they were getting the protein powder and all nuts and organic cereal, lots of great things. So I'm just going to share a couple of the athletes that we went back after 4 years of them playing. They kind of just talked about some of the things that they noticed. And Rachel noticed an increase in her athletic performance, positive changes in endurance, speed, and quickness, eating more fruits and vegetables. You get metabolic programming. When your cells are being fed beets, kale, and cabbage, you tend to crave more of what your cells are being built off of. That's why with fast food, if you're eating sugar, salt, fat, you crave sugar, salt, fat. So fewer cravings for salts and sugars. That's where the complete can be very helpful because it levels your blood sugar, keeps it in that willpower zone. And her body felt good. And she noticed she was getting faster recoveries from lift practices and, most importantly, games. Geneva, also, she just had a total transformation where she just was not sick as much. She noticed that she was craving more fruits and vegetables. She had a better focus and needed less of her ADHD meds. And it was a great addition to her diet. Then this is my daughter, Haley. She noticed the metabolic programming, her eating completely changed. She ate things that she didn't eat before. Increased energy, drinking more water, no more asthma. I mean, we have not renewed her inhalers in 9 years. We bought them once just because we were worried when she went to college. She never used it. And she said last month that she didn't believe that she could have played college lacrosse if it were not for the Juice Plus. Now, when she was in high school, she'd have to sub herself out, pull herself off the field to do her inhalers. And we started with the Juice Plus. The next year, she was able to run the length of the field. And the coach noticed a difference in her stamina and endurance and her breathing for the most part. And it just was amazing to see the difference. With just her ability, decreasing the inflammation, she was able to really breathe. And then when she was at Hobart, she was scoring the top in in speed and running and not having the issues. So she was able to perform at the peak level. And that's ultimately what we want for our young athletes. Fewer sick days, improved fitness and endurance, and quicker recoveries. Bridie, the coach, noticed that the athletes taking Juice Plus were some of the strongest athletes. They were consistently increasing their personal best in the weight room, in speed and endurance. And they were most constantly mentally and emotionally focused. So they were just better able to really stay in the game. This is the trainer. We talked a little bit about how she noticed that they were, the athletes were healing faster when they were taking Juice Plus. And it's something that you add to your diet and you do it consistently every day. This is not like medicine where you take it once and it changes things. It's building over time because you're building at the cellular level. She also herself was catching everything. And once she added it to her diet, she noticed that she was better able to stay on her game. The Children's Health Study is how we started on Juice Plus, and it's just an amazing program. It's the largest nutritional study being done in the world on kids. It's anytime an adult signs up for Juice Plus, they can sponsor a child. This is how Haley and I started. I decided to sponsor her. And the child, which is ages 4 through full-time in college, can get their Juice Plus for free for up to 4 years. And the things that are changing over time is they're taking less medicine, they're missing less school, the parents are missing less work for being home with sick kids, they're making better choices, eating more fruits and vegetables, fewer visits to the doctor, drinking more water, consuming less fast food. They're more aware of their health, and 96% are having a positive effect of some kind. So this is really helping the kids build awareness. It is not instead of food. It is an add to, but it's providing an avenue for the kids to get more of what they need and want every day so that they can stay well. And the cost of Juice Plus, I think this is actually the best part. When you look at what we're spending our money on, like Starbucks, you can't, I don't even think you can get in and out of Starbucks now for $3. But if you're spending $3 on your coffee, that comes out to $1,100 a year. And with Juice Plus, if you're on the greens and the reds, that's less than $1.50 a day. And with the trio, it's $2.38, which the way I justified it for my family was I put it as $18 a week in the grocery bill. And if you go to the grocery store, like the last time I went, I spent over $100. And then you look and see what you're buying, what is actually nutritious that's in that grocery bag. And you realize that for me, it was pretty easy to justify the cost. For $2.38, you're flooding your body with 30 different fruits, vegetables, and berries. For $2.38 in the grocery store, you might buy one avocado. So I think it's efficient nutrition is what I call Juice Plus. And then the complete shakes are a little over $2 a day. So I'm going to stop the share. And I should probably stop the recording.